Okay, so in the class, as far we have discussed several factors related to society. At first we have discussed participants, right? These are the social factors, right? So by these factors we determine the quantity or the amount of relationships. Okay, so the participants after that. So what are the factors? So those who have not attended any classes, please take this note. Participants, then setting. So setting means what? Participants means people. We are participants, right? In any conversation, we are participants. Okay. After that, setting. So setting is the place. So where are the conversation taking place? So that is called setting. Okay. Setting মানে হচ্ছে যেটা আমরা বলি জায়গা, place. আচ্ছা, after that, topic. So what is the topic of the conversation? So that is determined by topic. And what means setting and why are the conversation taking place? That is determined by function. Okay, so participants means people, setting means place, then topic is the topic of the conversation or what is the main theme, and then function means purpose. Okay, maybe I gave some examples in the class, conversation examples. Okay, so we will discuss another example. So there can be many examples, right? In our regular conversations we can create many examples. We can set an examples by the context. Okay, after that we have discussed social dimensions, right? So these are the factors and these are the dimensions. So those who have attended the class, how many dimensions we have discussed? Riyadh? Four. So what are these? These dimensions are determined by scales, by some horizontal or vertical scales. Okay, so the first one is solidarity scales or distance scale. Okay, so the first one is social distance scale or solidarity scale. Okay. The first one, and then status. Then formality, and what is the last one? Referential and effective function. So can I erase this one? So these four dimensions can be drawn through some horizontal and vertical scales. Okay, So for social distance skill, okay, so if you imagine a conversation between father and son, okay, or mother and son, or brother and sister, okay, so these conversations will fall under this relationship skill. So these skills actually determine social or formal or casual relationships. So, okay, so all the relationships or the conversations related to any relationships, so this can be determined by this skill. Okay, so can we imagine a conversation between father and son, such as dear son, did you sleep well last night? Okay, so this type of conversation will fall under this skill. So if the conversation has close relationship between the participants, then the indicator will be at the left side, okay, and if the distance is more, then the point scale will be at the right side. Okay, so by this way we can determine the position of a conversation in a scale. Okay, okay, so if we imagine a conversation between an office manager and an employee, so what will be the position of that conversation in that scale? A conversation or a dialogue between office manager and employee. So are they as close as father and son? No. So that in that case, the point scale will be at the right side, okay, in the distance position, okay, because they work in a professional setting, professional environment. So in that case, there is no intimate or close relationship between them. That's why the position of the dialogue stays so far at the distance position. Okay. Okay, now come to the status scale. Okay, so professionalism or any conversation in any professional setting or in an informal setting, but the conversation is professional. So in that case also the dialogue or the conversations between participants will be determined by status scale. So how can we draw a status scale? This means what? Horizontal or what is horizontal, what is vertical? That is vertical, that is horizontal, right? Okay.
Vertical.
So vertical. Okay, so this is high, this is low. Okay, high status, low status. Okay, so so if you imagine a conversation between two rickshaw pullers, okay, two rickshaw pullers in a at a tea shop, tea stall, or what do we say, tonger dokan, right? So what will be the position of the conversation? Low, right? Not too much low, not as much as people who lives in a slum area, but a little bit upper side than low, so the position will be here. So you can create or write any conversation. You can imagine story or write the conversation at the exam script. Okay. Tesla drivers. Okay. So I think. What do you think? Hi. More than Elon Musk. Okay, so if we imagine a conversation between a bus conductor and me or you, so what will be the position? Don't talk. What will be the position of the conversation in this scale? Not too high, not too low. In between high and low. Okay. Okay, so by this way you can create any conversation, any example and write the example. Okay, so during the exam there will be a question like that, briefly explain the dimensional context of sociolinguistics with examples. Okay, so in that case you need to describe all the dimensions and draw the scale and give examples. So that is the full whole 10 marks. Okay, so that question will carry 10 marks. Okay, so if you give the name of the scale, draw the scale and give example, you will definitely get 8 or 9 out of 10. Okay, easy. Okay, then what? Formality scale. So sometimes we say in Bengali conversation, just like eto formality dorkar ache, directly bolo, right? So by this way we can determine how formal our conversation is, right? Okay. So how can we draw conversation? Formality scale. How can we draw conversation formality scale to determine horizontal? Riyadh, how can we draw vertical? Right. Just like the building of University of Scholars, 20th floor. We are at the 12th floor, right? Okay. That is the first floor, right? That is the lift. Okay. So, okay. I'm kidding. Okay, so high formality. Low formality. Okay.
Sir, there's a difference between our university status. Just because second floor person are high status.
Oh, okay. But the 7th floor is more high than us, higher than us. The formality scale can be determined by the formality of how formal the conversation is. So by this way we can draw and identify the position of the dialogue at the formality scale. Okay, so let's talk about the tea stall. Okay, any conversation in a tea stall. Okay, so at a tea stall there is a conversation between two office colleagues. Okay, so they are talking about their family issues, their relationships, their breakups, their friendships, their holidays. Okay, so what is the position of the conversation, of this conversation?
So after that I have a question.
Yeah? Okay. I will answer all the questions after the recording. Okay. Okay. So what is the position of the conversation? Maybe not too high. I think not in the middle too, but at the less than middle, but I think at the tea stall people talk about different issues and things. Sometimes they use slangs, right? Okay, so for this reason, formality. Okay, then the last one is referential. No talk, girls. Okay, referential and affective function skill. Okay, the last one is, so how can you draw referential and affective function skill?
So that will be also horizontal.
Is this yours? এটা কি আপনার? আচ্ছা সমস্যা নেই। Okay, so how can we draw referential and affective function skills?
Sir, there will be two horizontal lines. Okay.
Right.
Scale.
Horizon. Oh, right. Horizon. No, it's okay. No problem. It's referential. So at the end there is a shell. Okay, so referential. Okay, referential. Okay. And affective function skill. Okay. So can anyone explain what should I write there and here? What is the relationship between referential and affective function skill? Don't talk. Okay. Okay. So if any conversation has too many information, then the effectiveness will be what? Low. So highly informative content, low effective. You can alter the scale as last class you said that you have altered the scale. So if you alter the scale, you need to maintain the chronology, such as if the conversation is really highly informative, then the effectiveness will be low. Okay? And what will happen if the conversation is low informative? The effectiveness will be increased. Highly effective. Okay. So I have given an example in the last class. So can you imagine any conversation between two households? Such as two house neighbors, female, they are talking about their whole day, such as what I did in the morning, at the evening, and the afternoon, what I did in the kitchen. Okay, so this conversation is highly informative. There are too many information in the dialogues, right? So do you think these types of conversation has any effect?
Yes,
No. Sometimes, but not all the context. Okay. It depends on region. If it is in the Gulshan, Bonani, so the effectiveness will be low. And if it is in the such as old Dhaka area, then it depends. Okay, so low informative content means imagine dialogue between two journalists or a headline, okay, this type of information is low. This conversation has low information, not too much information, but this is highly effective, right? Okay. So the conversation between two journalists, such as whenever you saw a news broadcasting, so sometimes the broadcaster calls another journalist to know what is happening inside the area. So that this type of conversation is low informative but highly effective. Okay. So all these are social factors and dimensions. Okay. So কতক্ষণ হয়েছে রেকর্ড?